Hello and welcome to today's Wild Hearthstone deck tech and gameplay video on Fire Mage. Fire Mage is exactly what you would think. We're a mage that casts fire spells and cards that care about fire spells in one way or another. Anything from newer cards like, I'm going to say Fyrak the Blazing, being basically like a Fire Yogg-Saron puzzle box, to new cards like Supernova, and even, some older fire spells that you wouldn't think would be the most useful, like Elemental Evocation and Hot Streak. Beyond the fire spells, both new and old, we have some more interesting cards. There is a little bit of an elemental package, since beyond just being bodies that can apply pressure and eventually win a game, there are new cards like Old Living Flame here, or the Blastroid. Even cards like Sanctum... Chandelier? That's not how you spell Chandelier. Oh well. Even like Chandelier, whatever. This guy. Or the new Sarun. Are all either good elementals themselves that again can apply pressure, have some sort of useful effect that care about fire spells, or buffing fire spells. And beyond the fire spell payoffs, and a little bit of elementals to support it, we just have a medley of like perfectly good fire spells to play. Anything from Wildfire to the new Smoldering Grove, even Burn Down for card draw, the new Scorching Winds for damage over the top. Same thing for Sunset Volley, although damage over the top if you get lucky. But generally, the deck is pretty simple. We play fire spells and cards that care about fire spells in one way or another, or generate fire spells, what have you. Basically, if it's fire, it's going in the deck. And that is all for the deck tech. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions like, I don't have X, what about Y, or other generally nice and or constructive comments, I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. However, before we go really fast, this is another one of those lists that you'll see me do a lot, where you don't have to be married to the individual list card for card. If you want to try this at home, really just run a fire deck with cool fire cards that you think will be fun and will work somewhat well. Now we're on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Fire Mage list. Honestly, this is a perfectly fine hand. I think we'll take away the Kindling and one of the Living Flames. We just love curves. We're not particularly looking to do anything all that flashy. We're just looking to apply pressure. Or as consistent pressure as you can in a deck that has a good amount of like RNG to it. And I guess while we're sitting here... Okay, pardon the yawn. While we're sitting here in the early turns, I will say something now about Fire Mage as a whole, with the sort of caveat that I'm certain there are, quote, better versions of the deck you can make. Of course, Wildfire on turn 1. This deck is more so like a fun deck that I'm sure can be more optimized, but until we get to that point, we're on to the my second point of, while Fire Mage, at least this particular build, is there's a good amount of RNG to it. There's just like no other way to put it. It's somewhat controlled RNG, which helps, since on the whole, fire magic in Hearthstone is pretty aggressive. Combine that with the elementals that not only again have various synergies, kind of like the Blazing Accretion here, but on top of the synergies can just be creatures that apply pressure. In the meantime, Archivist into Living Flame. And again, we just apply pressure. Hopefully draw some big fire spells. I don't know what our opponent is, other than a Cthulhu deck, kind of. If they're here. Hello? Okay, alright. Still don't know what I'm looking at, but this is interesting. We don't have a second fire spell. I prefer not to use the Scorching Winds, so we'll just do a Secretion. Go face with the rest. That's pretty nice. Although we've drawn a lot of our elementals, so Sarun isn't going to be the most impactful. This is one of those cards that I think I can come back to this deck in the future. Sarun's a cute card. I just don't think it's good. It's like a good flavor card. I just don't think it's like good performance-wise, I should say. And especially in the future, I can imagine there being just like better fire payoff cards. In the meantime, Evocation, playing the Sarun, or whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, you know what? We'll coin for a Wildfire. Why not? I think we're just going to largely ignore what our opponent's trying to do and just apply pressure while we can. Let's see. Okay, so if nothing else, if they trade in with their Fey Trickster, it'll draw, at minimum, one of the Cthulhu cards. Hunter's Secret tells me nothing. More common ones are always going to be like... Okay. The more common ones are like your... Freezing Trap is always good. Why did he trade that way? Why would he not kill? Okay, so if it's Explosive Trap, only my Archivist dies. Maybe it's... Attack with the Archivist first. I'm a little concerned about what that is. It was Explosive Trap. Okay, he just did that kind of weird, but okay. Honestly, yeah, just gonna play dudes. Old kindling into the Sanctum guy. Yeah, that is Chandler. There's an eye in Chandelier, I believe. It's so odd. Honestly, go face, do a hot streak, see what we get. Honestly, we take that. Go face. Perfectly happy with that. Go face again with Scorching Winds. And as you can see, there are moments like this where, one, our opponent didn't do a whole lot. This is really more almost like a solitaire kind of thing. But that's like a good example of what I was talking about, of not only fire spells being generally aggressive and that being good for, you know, closing out games and applying pressure, which is what the deck already wants to do. But in addition, we have, you know, a respectable little package of elementals that can also just bonk our face to where we can get surprise wins that you wouldn't think a deck that's this memey could get. But anywho, we'll go on now to game number 2. And game number 2 with our Fire Mage list. And honestly, this is great. Scorching Wind is a little... How do I word it? It's not... Bad's not the right word. It might not be as useful. But it's like, again, like we saw in the last game, if we can sneak 6 damage out of nowhere and get some wins in, we take what we can get. Oh my gosh, the yawns. Okay. Gear shift, that's fine. Play a Wildfire. Suppose we can let the Smoldering Grove tick away. Oh, another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. Oh, hold on. What's up, Bubby? You okay, Mr. Wiggles? Oh, yeah. What I was going to say was... We'll play the Archivist first, and then pass. even if, you know, Fire Mage isn't the next big deck that takes off, or whatever, I do actually think that Smoldering Grove is a card that I could really see, like, I would not be surprised if I see this card in the future, just because it's a cheap way to draw a lot of cards, and if you're like a combo-heavy mage or something, I could really see this being very useful. Since you're not, I mean, ideally in a combo deck, you're going to, you know, pop off the turn you play it. You don't really need to worry too much about, like, managing this properly if you're just looking to blow them out in a turn, more or less. Smoldering Grove. A volley. Accretion. Let's see. If I were to play the Accretion, I could draw 3 and go up to 10. I don't want to do that. So Wildfire. The only non-bow for the little Blazing Accretion is the Fire Dragon dude. And that, like, stinks to burn. It just does. The deck is not wholly reliant on it. Like, it'll do fine without it. It just likes to have it, if that makes any sense. What are we doing here? I think I can. Yeah, we'll play the Accretion now. Why not? See what we draw. I will Fire Blast down the Minstrel. Go ahead and play a Kindling Elemental. This gives us 9 cards in hand. Yeah, sure. This is not the most imposing board, but it'll do. Still kind of don't know what our opponent deck is doing. Am I crazy, or is that the second Blackwater? So it shouldn't. I came from the deck, right? Yeah, so it shouldn't be a Reno deck. It's just like a weird Burgle Rogue that's drawn really poorly. Okay, Broomstick wouldn't imply that. Deck is odd. Oh well, I guess we'll coin out the Incenders. Another one of those good elementals that matches all of our other elementals. As you can see, the Eruptions are also fire spells, which again, our deck likes. And I guess we'll do Evocation into a Living Flame. Be very surprised if we get that many more activations of Incenders here. But even then, what's it? 2 damage now, an extra 10 damage floating around in the deck at any given point is nothing to scoff at. Krakatoa. That certainly is a card. I was right though, we weren't going to get that many more activations out of it. So I guess... I don't think I care. I think I just go face. Yeah, I'm at a point that I think we can just go face. I don't think our opponent has a whole lot of... Okay, that stinks. A whole lot of responses. No, we'll keep it. So I think we can just apply pressure. Does really suck to lose the volley, or whatever that card is. Yes, Sunset Volley. But we might not need it. Okay, so there's some Death Rattly combo, so even more reason to just turn on. Got another one. If this is evasion, this might stink, but I still think the right play is to hot streak into a volley. Ah, fuck. Does it still go to his face? If it, yeah, it does. Okay, I feel better. Okay, the Blackwing makes that better. But we're in a good spot. We've done the thing that I talk about all the time, we're threatening lethal, and we have made our opponent have to have an answer. If there's anything you take home from my videos when playing either Hearthstone or Magic, it's, and this is not my idea, it's a very old hat in, at least in Magic, but I'm pretty sure in Hearthstone, of you gotta make them have the thing sometimes. Don't let the possibility of what they might have stop. That's hilarious. The possibility of what they might have stop you from executing your game plan. That is silly. Did you trade that or did you play that? Trade it. Okay. Prep into something. It's after you take damage though, right? Am I? That's so far back I can't actually see what it. After your hero takes damage, become immune this turn. So if I hit him, okay, well that stinks. We're gonna find out real soon. That blows. That really fucking stinks. My initial, I guess you can call it question, was I think that, we'll say hypothetically, if I had not drawn the eruption, I think if I would have hit with the Blackwing, they would have taken the damage, gone to 0, then became immune, but then still die. I think. I don't think it stops the damage from happening. It does specifically say after. I should probably know that as much as I play this game, but alas I don't. Counter coin. Where's the goofiness? That Anka Death Rattly dudes cost 1. That is some Dane shit written all over it. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I guess I could just... Well, okay. I could be mill, and they could have reduced the cost of... Because the new... It's not Cold Light, but the other 2 mana one of these that has like a Battle Cry and a Death Rattle that got changed recently. What is... Some Togwaggle fuckery? Oh, it's Mechathune. Okay. Well, hold on. Doesn't your hand have to be empty? Cards in hand. Deck, hand, and battle. Yeah, okay. How are you going to get rid of the cards in your hand? Oh, I think if he would have had... I think Rogue's Passage in that would have technically got rid of all of his cards. Anywho, we take those. And that was Fire Mage. It's a fun little list. Might not be the best, but it's pretty good. And as you can see, it has gotten me to gold after the climb, for whatever that's worth. I'm almost certain that there is like a more efficient way to build this list that you can make it a little better. And if you have one, you know, go ahead and leave a list. Be nice about it. Don't be like that one of those dismissive assholes who's like, your deck sucks and you suck. Here's this. That's not the way to do it. Be nice and helpful and constructive if you think you have a better version of the list, which you can put in the comments below. But anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like me and my grab bag of content. And if you have any sort of questions or comments, like I don't have X, what about Y, or the aforementioned better versions of the list, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. Stay safe, and just try to be kind to one another. The world doesn't need more jerks out there. Anywho, bye-bye.